The older teenage years. I remember those days so vividly. Of course, I remember being young. I remember being around young people. I also remember being so green as a freshman in college. And I remember there were a lot of things that I just simply did not know. And that is what we're covering today. This conversation is about what older teens need to understand before they step into the real world situations involving things such as parties, drinking, being around drugs, around fights, text group chats, driving, being around weapons, overdoses, and reckless decisions. I want to bring awareness to parents, mentors, coaches as well, and anyone who works with older teens. Because the truth is, many of our teens are already being introduced to these environments. Some are driving, some are going to parties at this age. Some are around drinking, drugs, and situations that can change their future quickly. And I'll be honest, I believe a lot of our teens are greener than we were. We assume they know what's going on. We also assume they know how serious things can get. We also assume they know when to leave, but many of them don't. That's just the reality of it. And that is why conversations like this matter. Older teens need to understand this. Trouble does not only fall on the person who threw the punch, brought the drugs, sent the picture, or owned the weapon. Real life does not always work like that. Sometimes just being around the wrong situation can pull you into the mess. Staying too long, recording a fight, sharing a video, riding with the wrong people, or sitting in a car where drugs or a weapon are found. All of these things can bring real consequences. You do not have to be the main person doing wrong to still get caught up. We know that one bad party, one bad ride, one bad group chat, and overall just one bad decision. And now you may be dealing with the police, school discipline, and possibly a record that can affect your future. So let's break this down right away. First, let's talk about parties where people are fighting, drinking, doing drugs, or acting reckless. Older teens need to understand this clearly. When the environment changes, your decision needs to change, period. If people start fighting, drinking heavy, doing drugs, flashing guns, or acting out of control, that is not the time to sit around and see what happens. It's just not. This is the time to leave. Please leave. This is something I try to teach my son. Wherever you go, have an exit plan, have a strategy where you know if shit hit the fan, if something goes south, you can plan your escape somewhere you know you would be safe. If you're at a restaurant, know where the exits are. And that's the law enforcement in me. But again, all parents should teach their kids and mentors, you should teach your mentees to always know where the exits are. If you are at a gym, know where you would go if things turn bad. I know that may sound serious, but this is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. If a fight breaks out, where are you going? If somebody pulls out a gun, where are you running? If someone starts shooting, where are you hiding? Where are you going to get away? If the crowd starts acting reckless, how are you leaving? And these are not fear-based conversations. These are just preparation conversations. That's all. Always having a plan, always being 3 steps ahead of the situation. A lot of teens think, I'm not doing anything. I'm just here. They think, that's not my bottle. That's not my weed. They think, oh, that wasn't my gun, so I'm good. But that is not always true. Once police show up, someone gets hurt, drugs are found, once a weapon is involved, or someone overdoses, the whole scene can become a problem. You, of course, can become a witness. You may even become part of the investigation. And depending on what happened, you may even be accused of helping, encouraging, or being involved, especially if you're underage. Being around alcohol, drugs, open containers, fights, weapons can create legal problems. School problems are both. So the lesson is simple. When the vibe shifts, just leave. Do not stay because you came with the crowd. You don't have to. Not stay because you do not want to look scared. Not stay because your friends are still there. Do not stay because you want to record it. Or also if you think it's entertainment. Your future is worth more than that moment. Every state is different. So parents and teens need to know the laws where you live. But generally speaking, underage drinking, driving after drinking, open containers, drugs, fights, and weapons can all create serious consequences. Drug situations can become even more serious depending on what a teen handled, carried, shared, sold, or admitted to. If someone overdoses at a party, that may become both a medical emergency and a criminal investigation. And if a fight breaks out, charges can sometimes include assault battery, disorderly conduct, riot, unlawful assembly, or aiding and abetting, depending on the facts. This is why older teens need to understand this before they are in a situation. Do not encourage a fight. Do not record the fight for entertainment, and definitely do not post it or share it at that. Do not carry any drugs for anyone. Definitely don't hold a weapon for anybody. And also, we need to know, do not get in a car where you know drugs or weapons are inside of. Not stay at a party after the energy turns dangerous. Leave as soon as possible. Call a parent. That's important as well. As a parent, I've always told my son, you can always call me regardless. I don't care what the situation is. Um, and again, I just want to build that trust with him to get him to understand that he can always call me and I'm going to be there regardless, no matter what the situation is. We can always talk about it, but I want you to call me. Call a parent, call a mentor, a trusted adult. Also, with Uber, Lyft, call for a ride. A lot of teens can do that now. They have those capabilities. And most of all, call for help if someone is hurt or overdosing. But just don't stand around and let one bad situation become your situation. Now, let's talk about teens recording fights. A lot of teens think recording a fight is harmless. They think, I'm not fighting, I'm just recording. That's what majority of teens say, or young adults. But that phone can turn into evidence real fast. And if you're standing there recording, laughing, hyping it up, posting and sending it around, or helping embarrass somebody, you are no longer helping the situation. Now your phone is a part of the big mess. And if your recording is encouraging the fight, helping it continue, or making the situation worse, that can bring more trouble than you think. Parents, mentors, you need to understand this. If a fight breaks out, your phone should not be used for entertainment. Your phone should be using to get help, calling a trusted adult, security, 911 if someone is seriously hurt or in danger. Or use your phone to get yourself away from the situation safely. Do not stand there turning somebody's pain, embarrassment, or injury into content. Because once that video gets posted or shared or sent around, now there's a digital trail and a digital print. And that digital trail can show who was there. It can show who was laughing, who encouraged it, and most of all, who was filming. Now, let's be fair. Simply standing there with the phone is not automatically a crime everywhere. But if that recording becomes part of the encouraging and helping, setting up, or continuing the fight, police, prosecutors, and schools may look at that differently. And again, that just depends on the facts in the state. It could create an issue around aiding and abetting as well. Harassment, what else? Bullying, cyberbullying, disorderly conduct, school discipline, or even victim intimidation. The exact label depends on where you live and what happened. But the simple message is this. If your phone is helping violence continue, it may stop being just a recording. So teach your teens this. Do not record fights for entertainment. Do not post fights for likes. Do not share videos to embarrass somebody. And do not hype it up. Kids, they want to share and laugh and just make somebody's worst moment their content. So if a fight breaks out, step back, get away, get help, and most of all, just protect your future because one video can follow you longer, definitely than that fight lasted. Now, let's shift gears into another serious matter that a lot of teens, they just don't fully understand. And that's sending nude pictures, whether it's through group chats, screenshots, um, forwarding private images. What's big now is definitely the revenge porn. A lot of teens play around with group chats and they send the screenshots. We know they forward pictures and they repost things. They act like most of it is just joking and fun. But when nude pictures get involved, especially anyone and that image is under the age of 18, that can become a major legal issue real fast. Teens need to hear this clearly. Just because somebody sent it to you does not mean you can forward it. Just because it was consensual does not mean it is safe. Because it was your picture does not mean there are no consequences. And just because everybody is doing it doesn't mean that it won't blow up in your face. Once you save it, send it, repost it, screenshot, or drop it in a group chat, now you're part of spreading it. And a lot of teens, they just don't understand how fast a picture can damage somebody else's life as well as their own. One picture can lead to humiliation, and one picture can create family problems. It can also cause discipline at the school that you're at, and it can damage somebody's reputation. And depending on the laws in that state, one picture can create criminal consequences. So the rules need to be simple. Do not ask for nude pictures, point blank, period. Do not send nude pictures. Saving them as well can be an issue, and definitely forwarding the pictures. We have to tell our youth, just don't play with people's lives like that. Because once that picture leaves the phone, the control is gone. That's it. Somebody sends it to another friend. Somebody drops in another group chat. Somebody posts it online, or somebody uses it to embarrass somebody, threaten or shame somebody, which we see that a lot as well. And now what started as a private mistake becomes a public problem. Parents and mentors, we have to talk to our teens about this before it happens. We have to. We cannot wait until the other teen's parent call, and we definitely can't wait until the police are involved. We have to tell them early. We have to tell them now. So your phone can either protect your future or damage your future. And when it comes to private pictures, especially sexual or nude pictures involving minors, they don't play around. If someone sends you something inappropriate, please don't forward it. Do not show it around. Do not joke about it. Do not use it against anyone. My advice, tell a trusted adult, get some guidance. Most of all, delete it. That would be the safest thing to do because one group chat decision can definitely carry legal consequences. And before you forward any screenshots or share anything yourself, you have to ask yourself, could this hurt somebody? Could this embarrass somebody? And also, you got to think, can this become evidence and possibly affect your future? Most of all, just protect your name. You have to protect their name. We have to teach our kids to protect their name, their future, and other people's dignity. Now let's shift gears back into the party scene. If your child is somewhere and somebody overdoses or has a serious medical emergency because of drugs or alcohol, this may be one of the biggest lessons right here. So parents, listen closely. If somebody overdoses at a party, that is not the time to panic or run. That is not the time to drag somebody outside and leave them there. That is not the time to dump them somewhere. And all these things have happened. Definitely not the time to hide what happened. And it's also not the time to be scared. This is the time to call 911 immediately. When somebody is overdosing, every minute matters. Every second matters. A person's life may depend on how fast someone calls for help. So older teens need to understand the warning signs. If somebody passes out and will not wake up, call 911 immediately. If somebody is barely breathing or breathing strains, they may have a different breathing pattern, call 911. If somebody is turning pale, blue, gray, or cold, call 911. And definitely if someone is making a choking or snoring or gurgling sounds and cannot wake up, call 911 immediately. If you think something is wrong, please do not wait. Call for help fast. Do not waste time calling all your friends first or calling another person. Do not waste time trying to clean up the scene. Do not waste time trying to hide what happened. And most of all, don't leave the scene because you're scared or you think you may get in trouble. The right move is always to call 911, stay there, and try to help save that person's life. Follow the dispatcher's instructions. Try to keep the person awake and breathing. That's what pretty much the instructions they're going to give you. And if they're unconscious, place them on their side so they do not choke. Stay with them until the help arrives. That's the best thing to do. And that's definitely the moral thing to do as well. And in many situations, it is also the smartest legal move. Many states have overdose Good Samaritan laws, but those laws vary by state. They usually don't protect against every possible charge as well. They may not protect someone from unrelated warrants. They may not protect from someone selling or supplying drugs. Also, they may not protect someone who runs, hide evidence, or leaves the person behind. It's not going to protect them in that situation. So do not teach teens to count on the law saving them. Teach them to do the right thing. Call 911. That's the most important thing, is to get help and call 911 and following directions from dispatchers and what they're telling you to do. Tell the truth about what the person may have taken, if you know. It's very important. Do not dump the person. Moving the body, dragging them outside, running can make things 10 times worse. And it definitely can hurt the person who needs help. It can destroy any chance of protection, and it can make the situation look much worse when police and medical personnel investigate what happens. So the message is simple. If someone overdoses, call 911 and stay. If someone is not breathing right, call 911 and stay with that person. If someone passes out and will not wake up, call 911 and stay. You may think you're going to get in trouble. You may not know what to do, but the worst decision is to leave somebody helpless. That's the worst thing you can do. One call, just one, definitely can save someone's life. Now let's talk about driving when friends that may have drugs, alcohol, or a weapon in the car. This is a major one from older teens. My son, who is now 18, he has friends riding in his car. So always try to be clear with him and tell him, son, know who gets in your car. Know who you are riding with. Know what people you're bringing around. Only have real friends in your car, people you trust and that you respect. And most of all, people who respect you. People who are not going to put your future at risk. Because if a so-called friend gets in your car and stashes drugs, alcohol, or a weapon inside your vehicle, you may be the one who takes the brunt of that situation. You may be the one trying to explain why something illegal was found in your vehicle. Now, let me say this clearly. That does not mean the driver is automatically guilty for everything inside the car. But it does mean the driver is usually the one of the first people law enforcement is going to look at. And if an officer believes you knew about the drugs, knew about the weapon, or had control over that area where it was found, you can end up in serious trouble. So if you're driving, control your car. Do not let people bring random bags into your vehicle. Do not let friends hide things under your seat. And do not let people stash drugs, alcohol, or any weapons in your car. Because if that car gets pulled over, your future can be wrapped in their decisions. Older teens, they you guys definitely need to understand this. Your car is not a storage unit for other people's foolishness. Your car is definitely not a hiding place. And most important, your car is your responsibility. So protect yourself. If somebody is reckless, do not let them in your car. Don't give them a ride, especially if you know somebody tends to have drugs on them. Don't let them inside your vehicle. And definitely not weapons. If you shouldn't even be hanging with them if they carry weapons. And if somebody refuses to respect your car, then they don't need to be in your car, period. And if you find out something is illegal is in your vehicle, do not drive around acting like it's nothing. Stop. Make sure you separate yourself from that situation and take out anything that's in that vehicle or have, somebody else take it out. Because saying, my friend put it there may be a part of your explanation, but it's not a magic shield. It may be a part of your explanation, but it's not certain how that's going to hold up. Your best move is prevention. So prevent yourself from even being put in that situation by letting the unknown get into your car in the first place. Now, this is the big picture and the lesson in all of this. A lot of teens confuse loyalty with liability. They think loyalty means staying around when things get bad. Or they think loyalty means not saying anything. They think loyalty means holding something for somebody, which is not the case. Of course, they think loyalty means riding with people even when they know something is wrong. They may also think loyalty means not calling for help. But sometimes what they call loyalty is really a liability. And that is one of the biggest lessons older teens need to understand. There is a difference. There definitely is a difference between being a real friend and being dragged into somebody else's bad decision. A real friend does not put drugs in your car. They're not even going to put you in that situation. Nor will they bring a weapon around you and expect you to deal with it. That's just not what real friends do. They're not going to put the pressure on you to stay at a reckless party. Yeah, that's not a good friend. Um, a real friend does not expect you to sit around while somebody overdoses and nobody calls for help. So I'm just trying to bring this full circle. So teach your teens this. I think most importantly, when safety changes, your decision should change. I say it again. When safety changes, your decision should change. Now, let's get into some real life incidents that teens can learn from. These incidents have taken place over the last few years. And I'm going to say this first. This is not about blaming young people when something tragic happens. This is not about shaming families. And it definitely ain't about judging someone's child. That's not the case. This is about helping our teens understand that some environments, some choices, and some consequences come with real risk. And sometimes there are warning signs. Leaving early, calling for help, saying no can change everything. In this past December of 2025, 7 Providence college students were hospitalized after overdosing at an off campus party. And according to the reporting, police later arrested alleged suppliers, and investigators found fentanyl and weapons connected to this case. Lesson here is do not take unknown pills or unknown powder, and it's just drugs, period, especially if you don't know where they come from. Do not assume something is safe just because other people are using it. Definitely don't assume something is safe because you are at a party, just because you're there. In today's world, one pill can be deadly. One bad batch can change everything. And if people start dropping, passing out, breathing strange, or acting like something is wrong, call for help immediately. Do not run. Of course, do not hide. Do not wait. Try to save someone's lives, as we just discussed earlier. Another incident happened in Dartmouth College, which was a drowning case. A young man drowned after attending an off-campus party where underage drinking was involved. According to the reports, partygoers later went into the Connecticut River during a heavy rain. Um, the young man couldn't swim and was later found dead in the river. And the lesson is simple here. Do not mix drinking with bad weather and water because it's just a bad combination. And if you can't swim, don't let peer pressure take you in the water, trying to show out or trying to save face. If the conditions are bad, please just stay away. And if you're impaired, do not follow the crowd into a dangerous setting. Water may look fun and harmless at the moment, but water at night is a whole different level of risk. Another incident involving a young adult was on spring break, visited Punta Cana in the DR. The young lady ended up disappearing during the spring break, and authorities later believe she drowned. And her family asked officials just to declare her deceased. This ain't about trying to scare you, the teens or your teens, but our teens are getting older and they are going to want to travel and they are going to want to go on spring break and have a good time. But we have to teach them to be responsible. They're going to be around pools, beaches, the nightlife, alcohol, unfamiliar places. So they need to understand the risk. Teach your teens to travel with people who will watch out for you and do not separate from the group without a plan. Everybody should be on the same page. Do not let alcohol make decisions for you, most of all. I never understood when people would say, oh, you know what, I drank until I passed out or I just blacked out. Like, who would want to get that inebriated where they have no control over themselves or just life, period? I never understood that. And people do that all the time, to my understanding. So teach a kid if they're gonna be involved in a little bit of drinking to drink responsibly. Um, and most of all, if something feels unsafe, just leave. They have the right to say no and leave. Another tragic incident that happened at a university dealing with a young adult was a young man who died from alcohol poisoning after a fraternity rush event. The reporting stated that his blood level was at a 0.425 and the fraternity leaders were arrested on suspicion of hazing. So that's a part of the college life. And whether your daughters, your sons are going there and they may join the Greek life, fraternities and sororities, they have to understand the consequences and they need to know what they're going to be up against with the drinking that's involved in a lot of these organizations. They don't have to drink. They can be young leaders and tell them no. Let anyone pressure you to drink beyond your limit. Do not let a party group, a fraternity, a team, a social circle make you feel like you have to prove yourself by risking your life. Too much alcohol can kill you. Kids don't understand it. You can get alcohol poisoning, and that is no exaggeration. It can shut your body down and can definitely affect your breathing, and it can cause people to pass out or never wake up. So we have to teach our teens that these things happen. And you don't have to earn your acceptance by destroying yourself. You don't have to drink to prove anything or prove that you belong. And a lot of these organizations, they do these things, which puts pressure on a lot of kids and puts them in dangerous situations. And a real brotherhood, of course, a team, real friends, they shouldn't require you to risk your life to be accepted. Another university in Kansas, young man, 19-year-old student, fell from a second story window at a fraternity house in the early morning hours. And I'm almost certain that alcohol played a part in that. Authorities said foul play was not suspected, and reports said the incident remained under investigation. And again, the lesson here is not to assume we know every detail. The lesson is that unsafe environments can turn tragic quickly. Late night environments, crowded houses, impaired judgment, horseplay, rough housing by balconies, windows, rooftop stairs, and heights can all become dangerous pretty fast. I just definitely want to make it clear this is not about judging these young adults. It's not about blaming families. It's just about telling our older teens the truth. A lot of tragedy does not start with someone planning to ruin their life. It starts with one risky environment. It starts with a bad decision, an unsafe setting, a moment of peer pressure. This connects to a quote I want to leave you all with. Real friends do not put you in legal danger. And when safety changes, your decision should change. And I'll say that again. When safety changes, your decision should change. If the party turns bad, leave. If people start fighting, leave. If somebody overdoses, be smart. Please call 911 and stay. Make sure that person gets help. It definitely can be a life you're saving. And if there are drugs or weapons in the car, do not drive around acting like it's nothing. If a group chat turns reckless, exit the chat. Please exit the chat. And if people are pressuring you to do something that can hurt your future, please separate yourself from them people. Parents and mentors. Here are a few action steps I want to challenge every parent and mentor with. Walk through one car scenario with your teen. Ask them something synonymous to, if contraband appears in your car, what do you do next? Walk them through a party scenario. Ask them, if the party turns dangerous, what do you do next? Walk through an overdose scenario. Hey, if somebody passes out and they're not breathing right, what do you do next? So walk them through these scenarios. The group chat scenario. If somebody sends a nude picture, threats, sends you a fight, reckless messages start getting shared, what do you do next? Do not wait until they are in a situation. Prepare them for it now. Teach your teen that recording trouble is not the same thing as helping. Teach your teen that staying too long can pull them into the mess. And also show them that calling for help is not a weakness. Establish that trust with your child. And as a parent and mentor, we must make the rule very clear that if the party turns bad, leave or call home. And that's something I told my son all the time. And to this day, son, no matter where you are, no matter what happened, you always have a direct line to call me. I'm going to judge you in that moment. I'm not going to embarrass you in that moment. If you need me, call me. And if it's an emergency, call 911 first. But if you need me, call me. And I'm going to be there, point blank, period. And we'll figure it out from there. Everything else, we can figure that out later. Because I would rather get that phone call that have my child stay somewhere unsafe because he was scared of my reaction. So parents, let your teens know you can call me. You can call and tell me the truth. You can call and ask me for help whenever. As we bring this to a close, I hope you took something from this conversation. I hope you share it with a parent. Share this with a mentor. And most of all, I hope you share this with an older teen who needs to hear this, because our teens are stepping into adulthood-like environments, but many of them still need guidance before they face adult-level consequences. And that is why these conversations matter. Please subscribe to Raising Humans Together for more real-life parenting conversations that help prepare our teens for real consequences. As always, let's keep learning as parents, and let's keep growing. Let's keep raising humans together. I see you on the next one. Peace.